everybody. Welcome to our first fantasy Canadian A-tier disc golf pick. Is that the name, Daryl? What's the name?
I don't know. That was quite a mouthful, Jeremy.
Yeah. What have you come up with a
Chain
fancy name
Out
for it?
Fantasy League. Is that what
All
we're calling it?
right. Yeah.
That
Chain
sounds
Out
easier.
Canadian Fantasy Disc Golf League.
Sure.
Year 1, 2024.
Episode 1, Foxwood Open. And let's welcome Tim Plamondon, regular guest. And almost at this point, you're like almost like an indoctrinated co-host.
Yeah.
And so proud of it. I'm just so proud of it. And what an intro. Oh my goodness. That was
Stepped
special.
up the game this time.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. He does amazing work with it. And on top of that, you get that little groovy bass beat in there. I know you're a big guitar guy and music guy. So yeah,
I'm
you're
really
feeling that one.
Really into funk right now too. So that works.
Nice.
So Daryl, this is our first one. Why don't you let everybody know what we're getting into?
Yeah, so we've teased it on our other podcast as well, but let's quickly bring up the rules. So the point scoring, everybody gets 3 MPO, 3 FPO picks. It'll be a snake draft. We've already predetermined who's gonna go first. When you make your picks at the end, you get 5 points if your player MPO or FPO is on the podium. So we'll get into the maximum scoring in a second. If any of your picks get on the podium, you get 3 points. And if your pick gets in the top 10, you get 1 point.
All right. Has everybody got it? Tim, make sense to you?
Makes sense.
Didn't make sense to me. So out of your 6 players that you pick, if an MPO wins and an FPO wins, that's obviously 5 points for both podium, both first place finishes. Your other 2 picks both finish on the podium. You'll get 3 points each for those. So a maximum of 11 points, making a maximum score of 22 points.
That would be like the perfect.
That'd be 22-0 because obviously we wouldn't get any points.
Yeah.
Well, no, we would because we would get top 10.
Yeah, you can
points.
still get more. Yeah.
We could get them in the top 10. So we're going to find out too who's going to win each week by who's gets the most points there, and then also we're going to do a running total of points. So there is a chance at the end of the season that you could lose the weeks but still have more points depending on what the spreads look like throughout the different tournaments.
Yeah, and as almost like a tiebreaker or as another fun pick, we're going to put out our teams or our picks on Instagram and in this video as well. And we'll let you, the listeners, viewers, vote on which team you think has got the best chances to win this tournament. Some people hedging their bets already there, Jeremy.
Yep.
I just feel like, I come from a hockey background and I'm very adept at the hockey fantasy, but also I am in year 2 of a disc golf fantasy pool with a group of 6 people that we created our own. It's similar. You draft for your teams at the beginning of the year. You ride or die, and you have a bench and whatnot. And currently, I'm in second place in that pool.
Right.
Sorry. I'm being told by the second place person that I'm actually in first. My apologies. I'm in first right now in my pool there. Not for long.
One thing I like about your fantasy picks there, and I know I followed it last year and this year, is that part of making your picks, you have to come up with funky team names as well.
Yeah, I got to give props to my buddy Jason because he has a few of the FPOs that are pregnant right now. So he named his team the Maternity Pad.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, we didn't go that far, Jeremy, but we're having a revolving guest on each week, then, that's fair.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this first tournament that we've got coming up is the first A-tier of in Canada, and that's out at it's called the Foxwood Open. It's out in Baden, Ontario. And this one's on a ball golf course. And I don't know if Tim's been doing stuff with his studying in that and making sure he knows with his players, because we're going by what's on the registration there and who's registered on Disc Golf Scene. That's what we're using. And we can't guarantee that every player registered is actually showing up and playing this tournament. So, Daryl, if we pick a player that's not on there, I guess you just there's no sub, there's no replacement.
No, we didn't factor in the fact that somebody might not show up or not play. So, 6 picks. If they don't finish, they don't play. It's 0 points.
Hard to podium if you don't show up.
That's it.
And unlike you were saying there, Tim, of picking a team and ride or die, we thought we would do it tournament by tournament, mainly because you ride and die. You could be doing a lot of dying along that ride because you might not get those players. They don't go east and west as often as they do in the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
That's right. And I think it's what's really cool about this event too, along with a lot of the other A tiers. It's like it's a qualifying event for the USDGC and for Throw Pink. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, for sure.
One other thing that we should point out, 3 MPO, 3 FPO, pick them in any order. So if you want to hit your FPO person right off the bat, you can do that. Doesn't matter which order you pick them in.
Yep. Great.
Right.
Perfect. Okay. Do you have anything else to add, Jeremy?
No, I think we're ready to get right down to it. Do you guys, everybody got their list ready? Or I don't know. Tim says he's really experienced.
But I have my list.
Yeah, Tim's got it really experienced, he said. And I don't know if he just flies off by the cuff or what he does.
There must be some thought going into this.
Yeah.
I'll reveal all once my draft is done.
Yeah,
I can't do it before the draft, obviously. That's,
Okay, so we should also mention that we predetermined Tim won the toss, so you get the first pick. You get 1 pick. Jeremy gets the second pick, so you get 2 picks.
Yes.
Then it comes to me, 3rd pick, and I get 2 as well. And then it'll back to is it back to Tim?
No, I get 1.
Sorry, go back to you.
Yeah, so Tim gets 1,
Right.
I get 1, you get 2, I get 1, Tim gets 2, I get 1, and we keep going until we get all the picks done.
Yeah,
that's how the snake works.
That's correct.
Go for it. I'm ready.
Okay. Well, before I draft my player, I just want to say shout out to all the the EDGA people that will be watching this at the watch party for this draft. We appreciate your support and thank you very much. Team Tim, so proud to draft this person from Windsor, Ontario. This is last year's FPO winner of this event, now a Pro Tour regular, sponsored by Prodigy, 939 rated CHANTAL BUDINSKY.
Oh,
wow,
what
an
good
intro.
Choice. Nice. All right. Well, I don't know if I can match that start, but Team J-Pow over here is happy with the first selection. We are going to move into the MPO side of the field. And, don't call it recency bias. Call it just inside knowledge, knowing an Innova player who's going to take it down on that MPO side. I'm choosing one, Martin HENDEL.
Oh.
And Daryl's writing these down as he gets prepared.
Well, I'm removing them from the list to make sure that I know who's gone and where my list is.
All right.
2 good picks so far. Tim Europe over here is going to go. I'm going to go and throw maybe a little bit of a curveball. I'm going to go back to the FPO division. I'm going to pick a person that I didn't know a lot about. I'm going to go with Jennifer Smiley.
Oh, look at him picking that sleeper.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, I have Jennifer Smiley pretty high on my list. And I got to commend you for that pick. I don't want to commend you for that pick, but I got to commend you for that pick. I think that's a good pick.
Yeah. I think that was one too,
Very
Tim. As we did our research, we were like, what?
Yeah.
We did not know. So that's someone to watch.
And when I was doing my very thorough research, she's already played 14 events this season.
DGPT Pro Tour events.
Wow.
Yeah. No
so
Canadian being. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's your first one. Now, what are you doing with your next pick there, Mr. Daryl?
Yeah, I was thinking that one of these picks, I was thinking they'd already be gone. So now it's kind of tough because I'm like, I don't know which one to pick. I guess I'm going to have to go with. I'm going to have to stay Canadian. I'm going to have to go with Thomas Gilbert.
Oh, another good one. Another good one.
Yeah.
I thought he would have gone higher.
All right. Well, while you've picked Thomas Gilbert, I don't know if I'm on like a friend of the show, guest of the show kick here, but with my FPO pick is what I'm choosing to pick next. I'm going with COLLEEN McInnes, and welcome to Team J-Pow, COLLEEN. You're going to be fit right in.
Okay.
Great. So that brings it to me, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
It does for a couple picks.
Yeah, for 2 picks. That's right. All right. So from St. Thomas, Ontario, 3rd place here last year, coming off a 2nd place finish last weekend in a field of 8. Not sure about the sponsor, but she's 918 rated. I'm going with another FPO, SANDI HENDEL.
Oh, good choice. Okay.
Sister of Martin HENDEL.
Very important distinction.
Yeah.
Okay. This might shock some people, but I'm going back to the FPO well.
All right.
From Sudbury, Ontario, 4th place with this event last year. She's got a win this year and is about to crest the 900 mark. She just bumped up to 899. Alicia Hums.
Ooh, good choice.
Interesting.
And that seals my FPO. So
yeah, you've got it just done. So
think-
you've got a strategy here.
that's the whole podium.
That's
There
it.
you
You've
go.
got all of the points on that side. You got the 11 points locked up, do you?
That's right.
All right. Well, it
I like
comes
the
back
confidence.
to me, and I've been kind of mixing a little bit back and forth here. But there's another young up and comer who did some amazing things on the nationals scene last year out in Thunder Bay, Ontario. Almost looked like this kid was going to take the win. And I think he's probably matured over the rest of the season. He's ready to be part of Team J-Pow. I'm selecting KALAN SCHAT.
Okay.
And Daryl, that brings it back to you, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sticking with the junior division, I'm going to go back to the FPO side. Seeing as you've done all your research, I kind of have to give you the update. So currently 892 rated out of Westport, Ontario, sponsored by Team Innova. Maybe an interesting pick, but I'm going to go with Rebecca Dawn.
Climbed
Ooh.
15 rating points this month.
Yeah.
Wow.
I should note that, but yeah, she did.
So that gives you your one. What are you thinking
Mhm.
next there, mister?
Um.
And what's your team name, by the way? Did you come up with one?
Well, no, but give me time to think.
Team DJ?
Team Europe. I don't know.
In our Canadian disc golf
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but
fantasy picks, Team Europe is in visiting.
I am gonna go with.
That's one of the things that everybody loves when they listen to a podcast is silence there, Daryl.
Well, sorry, you guys threw me for a loop because I had them in kind of an order of which way they were going to go, and then you just totally didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I mean, I know I should be able to
Tim,
roll
I
with
think
the punches, right? But
For sure.
I think we'll teach him the strategy afterwards, so you're prepared for that scenario that's always going to happen.
This is just draft 1. By draft 9 or whatever,
Exactly.
it's going to be solid for sure.
yeah, I'll admit that I haven't done a lot of drafts. Does it show? Okay, so for my my fourth pick, I am going to go with from Toronto, Ontario. Member since 2022, currently 886 rated, 7 points. Was raised 7 points this last update. I am going to go with Alexandra Poletto.
Oh, another good choice. And she just won the Christie Lake Spring Fling on the FPO side.
Yeah, so recency bias on the win radar there.
And I'm going to plug another podcast, another Canadian podcast, is go out and check out Josh Sachs because he did a nice little interview with Alexandra there too. So you can get a chance to get to know her.
Nice.
All right, brings it back to me, does it?
Yep.
Okay, hailing from St. Williams, Ontario, only been a PDGA member since 2021, went up 13 points, 971 rated. We're going with Cameron VELTMAN for Team J-Pow.
Very good.
I think there needs to be applause, or they're supposed to be cheering there. I think the silence is actually
stunned silence.
It's the stunned silence because you guys are like, oh man, you stole my pick.
Well, that is a draft thing, and Daryl, you'll learn this as you get deeper into drafting. You'll have someone that's right there, and you're like, okay, they just need to be there 2 more picks, and sure enough, they go.
Oh yeah.
And also too, that I should note fills out my MPO side of the card.
Interesting.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's my turn. So from Queen Creek, Arizona, did not play this event last year, but has had some really good results this year. 1002 rated, Max Nichols.
Ooh.
Was he on your radar, Jeremy?
No.
Yeah.
I think that's a surprise one to me. Somebody really dug in.
It's one of the highest, one of the highest rated players to play in this tournament. one of the very few 1,000 rated players to play in this tournament, and is still up to date. There is another 1,000 rated player out there in the MPOs, but hasn't played a little bit. Is thinking about taking them. We'll see. Anyway, that's my first of 2 picks, and now my second pick. I'm gonna stick to my plan here because you can't go off script. So, from Niagara Falls, which I was lucky to play that course a couple times. It's an amazing course. From Niagara Falls, Ontario, placed 11th in this event last year, has 2 wins and 5 podiums this season. 999 rated, Cam ZANINI.
Ooh,
Yeah,
good choice.
pick.
Well, and you had said something about 1,000 rated players. There is another thing, and I think Martin might have alluded to it as well, is that there are some 1,000 rated players in Canada who don't play a lot of events, don't finish a lot of events, and stay 1,000 rated. So I realize that's something that you have to keep in mind too, because they'll be great players and you hope they have a great event, but there is a chance that maybe it's just not their day and they're not gonna finish that event. So
that's right.
But what I'm gonna do now with my next pick is I'm gonna pick someone from Toronto, Ontario, someone that you've seen go down and tour in the US and play some different games. Has a signature disc from Judge Havoc this year with a nice, pretty picture of a cat on it. We're going with Cat Johnson. Oh, yes. Oh, welcome to Team J-Pow, Cat.
More stunned silence, I see.
Well, I was looking at my player, and you said he's from Toronto, or they were from Toronto, Ontario. So I thought you were picking my person, but I'm glad you didn't pick that person because now I remembered that you're already out on your MPO anyway. So
yeah,
I am going to pick from Toronto, Ontario.
Keep in mind, these are your last 2 picks, right?
Oh yeah, you guys are both done.
No, we both got one more left, but these are your last 2.
Mm-hmm.
These are my last 2?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so I am going from Toronto, Ontario.
I can't wait to see the comments.
Yeah. Nobody's going to pick my team, really, based on this. Doesn't do his research. 988, up 8 places. Has a win and a 3rd place at Christie Lake Spring Fling. I'm going to go with Calvin ROORDA. ROORDA.
I have Calvin Power listed at 11 on my list.
Oh. And that would then lead me. He was mentioned in a previous podcast that we did. I am going to go, once I bring up his information, I am going to go with from, I don't know how to pronounce it, Almer. I'm going to go with Almer, Ontario. Professional since 2020, 967 rated. EZRA Lockington.
There you go.
That's my final pick.
Brings me back to my final pick, and I want to welcome to Team J-Pow a lovely person out of New Hamburg, Ontario, Canada. Ooh. Member since 2021. Currently rated at 861 with 7 career wins. I am picking Jessica Goulet.
Very good.
And then, Tim, what do you got?
All right, my final pick. It's an MPO pick from New Hamburg, Ontario as well.
Oh.
Placed 4th in this tournament last year and creator of the MyPutt app. So they've got to be good at putting. 996 rated, Joe Vander Veen.
There you go. All right. Well, that kind of closes out the picks there, but we should summarize, and we'll put something up, of course, for you to vote on the teams.
Put the teams up right now, yeah.
And then do you want to just run through them quickly there, Daryl? Do you have them in front of you?
No, but everybody can announce their own team. So, Tim, seeing as you started, why don't you go through your picks?
Absolutely. So my first pick was CHANTAL BUDINSKY, last year's winner. I then went with SANDI HENDEL, ALICIA Hums. Then my MPOs, Max NICHOLS, Cam ZANINI, and Joe Vander Veen. I'm happy that I got my 3 of my top 5 ranked FPOs, and I actually ended up getting 3 of my top 5 ranked MPOs. So I feel like I got the top half of my list covered.
Pretty strong.
I think what you're doing there too is you're giving the guest team a pretty good chance there in this first week. Maybe that's all that experience you've got. I learned some things here. You got to be prepared. You've probably got to have a hat for your player. You've got to have all of these things ready to go. Make sure you're announcing all of their stats and history. So I'll be better prepared definitely for tournament number 2. But let me go through my team. I have leading the 2 captains of my team are Martin Hendel and Colleen McInnes, leading the MPO and FPO, followed by KALAN SCHAT, Cameron Veltman, Kat Johnson, and Jessica Goulet. If there's a better team out there, I don't think I've ever seen it. I don't.
Well, and then rounding out the picks, I would go with Team Shambles. How about, is that a good name?
Perfect.
Team Unprepared? Yeah, something like that. We'll workshop it. I was kind of surprised that you didn't, with the FPO division only having 9 players, Jeremy, that you didn't fill out your FPO picks earlier.
Yes, well, that was part of my strategy,
so,
though, too.
Yeah, but I went with Jennifer SMILEY as my first pick, Rebecca Dawn and Alexandra POLETTO rounding out the FPO team. Arguably the number 1 Canadian Thomas Gilbert, Calvin ROORDA, and EZRA Lockington.
There you go. Well, now that we're kind of wrapped up and we have these teams picked, one of the things that I was thinking was when you looked at the FPO field, we knew you were getting a point almost guaranteed. There's only one FPO that's not getting a point in this tournament this week. So at least in our fantasy picks. So I knew that was not necessarily top priority because I was getting a point guaranteed. So that's why I focused a little bit more on my MPO side. Deep down strategy for you. We'll go you, Tim. Any strategies you want to reveal now that you've solidified your votes? Was it a little bait and switch with us, or look over there?
No. When it comes to drafting, I make one list and I stick to it, as painful as it is. Sometimes it's very tempting to see a person maybe lower down on your power rankings and go oh, I really want to just jump the list, but you gotta stay focused to your plan. I did want to go FPO heavy at the start because even though there would be lots of points handed out, I did feel that those top points are like the podium points and the win points are worth it. So I did want to tidy up, and I felt like there's 9 FPO, there's 3 podium spots. If you could key in on those, you're taking those points away from other people. Whereas with the MPOs, the field is so big, there's more likely to have less people on the podium. It's more of a jumble. So I felt pretty confident that I could probably sneak in some good MPO picks and really solidify my FPOs.
Good. Yeah. And Daryl, Team Shambles, what was their strategy?
Pick up what was left.
They had one?
No, I had I guess, I need to work on the ordering because I had them laid out. I still have Greg Barsby on my list, but I'm now looking that he's not even playing. No. He's obviously, we mentioned about it with Martin Hendel earlier, that he's still in Denmark. I think he was originally registered there, but we know that he's out just finished out in Denmark with the Copenhagen Open over there. So I had them laid out in order of who I wanted on MPO and FPO, 1 to 5, or 1 to, I think I had 5 picked out. No, I had 6 picked out from each division. Sorry. I've deleted them once you said them so that I wouldn't get confused. So I had 6 MPO, 6 FPO, but I didn't have them in 1 to 12 in order of picks. So that's something that I'll have to do for the future for sure.
Well, maybe I'll give you this tip of mine. What I did, Daryl, was I came up with my top 18. I picked my top 9 FPO and I picked my top 9 MPO, and then I mashed them in together to my top 18 because then I knew I'd always be prepared. And I think Tim's nodding his head here.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that when you crossed one off, you would always know who your next one is because you guys are picking 6. You can't pick all 9. So
that's right.
Thank you for the tips.
Yeah. So
comes after the
please
draft.
please give the sympathy vote for Team Shambles this weekend.
Hey, just because it's a Shambles, it's still a solid team.
Oh yeah, your team is great. Like all of these players are great. They're Canadian MPOs and FPOs. We can't be going wrong. It's just who's going to have the best day this weekend. I guess the best set of days at this tournament.
Yeah, and it could be anyone at any point. There's no reason why anyone on those lists or anyone that we pick doesn't have a awesome day or the best week of their life. We could see a lot of things. That's the beauty of a draft. You think but you never really know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you don't get to MPO and FPO for not being a good player.
That's right.
Like all of these players are great players. So I'm excited. I'm just giving Team Shambles is more ownership than it is the actual team. I think the team is fantastic. The owner might have a little work that needs to happen.
Okay, so we've got Team Shambles. We've settled on that name. I'm taking it. We've got Team J-Pow. Did we get a name from Tim?
I mean, I would get blasted in this community if I didn't go with Team Firebird. I would hear it.
Yes.
I would hear it from everyone. So Team Firebird.
All right, so there you go. So that's the 3 teams here. This is going to give us some excitement too. We're heading down to spring runoff this weekend. So when we're not playing our rounds there, Tim and Daryl, we can take a look and see how the players are doing at Foxwood and maybe poke a little fun at each other as we go along.
Yeah, and I can tell you from having the pool with my group of friends, we're constantly, in each other's ears about each other's players and watching the Pro Tour scores. It's so fun to follow along. Your investment into it just gets bigger.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody for joining us. Hey, Daryl, and make sure to watch for the post on social media there and vote in the poll or however we put it up for who you think's got the best team.
And
absolutely.
I just got to say, I got to tell a very quick story to lead us out, if that's okay with you folks.
Absolutely.
100%.
Today I had a little bit of time and I got to go to Spruce Grove and I played a couple rounds there and I was on I did the 9 2 times. So it was hole 17, which is actually hole 8, which normally that basket's quite low. It's a little bit lower to the ground, but it's been put on a little riser. So that was great. And I was able to pull out my trusty Firebird today. I threw it up, had a little tailwind. I kind of had a really good look at it, wide open shot. And you know what? That disc did one thing. It did not.
It did not.
Chain out.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. We appreciate you coming on. And thanks, everybody, for watching the show.
Thanks, guys.